Alright, y'all. We're back to the video, back to the reaction, backslash to talk about it. So we are here with Jimmy High Roller. I haven't did a Jimmy High Roller or reacted to a Jimmy High Roller video in a while. But this title and his thumbnail caught my attention. The harsh truth about Caitlin Clark. Now, I made a video yesterday. I don't know if I'll drop it or not, but I made a video talking about the Izzy Harrison situation on Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call it. And Izzy Harrison pretty much, long story short, Izzy Harrison reposted Caitlin Clark winning Rookie of the Year from one of her fan pages. And the Chicago Sky fans pretty much, as she says, harassed her. And called her weird as F for reposting a Rookie of the Year post of Caitlin Clark, Izzy Harrison. And pretty much what I said was, we're in the stage of the WNBA pretty much being Crips versus Bloods. Because if you are an Angel Reese teammate, and since they wear blue, we might as well just call them the Crips now. If you post anything about Caitlin Clark and the Fever that wear red, since they might as well be the Bloods then. If Izzy Harrison, who plays for the Chicago Sky, posts anything about Caitlin Clark, now she's weird. Matter of fact, let's get to the video.
Some athletes are good.
I'll talk about the other half in a second.
Some athletes are great. But very rarely does an athlete make such an impact that they begin to transcend their sport. You know, those times where an athlete is creating so much buzz that people who don't even follow the sport know their name. These athletes hardly ever come around. But when they do, you know something special is going on. Growing up, I used to skate, so of course I know who Tony Hawk is.
Yes, sir.
But my mom also knows who Tony Hawk is. In a sport that tends to...
Man, that sounds just like me and Caitlin Clark.
Only retain
I know Caitlin Clark is, and so does my mother.
Most die-hard fans, Usain Bolt was so incredible that he became a household name. And it also helped that his name sounds like he was destined to be the fastest man of all time. Ask the average person to name any golfer, and they'll instantly say Tiger Woods.
Tiger Hood.
Followed by no one else.
Tiger Hood.
There are very few athletes that reach this level of popularity, where they almost single-handedly lift their sport to new heights. And right now, women's basketball is home to an athlete that may just be next in line to be one of these transcendent athletes. Caitlin Clark has only been in the WNBA for one season, and she is already the face of the league, drawing in more fans, viewers, money than ever before. But it hasn't come without harsh criticism, some of it targeted at the disproportionate admiration and...
See, and that's the thing about the video. I might just drop it anyway. The hot take I made in the video, the unpopular opinion, it might rub people the wrong way, or it just might be facts. Caitlin Clark is so good at basketball and is so entertaining at it. I believe it came to the point where it became brain rot. Not will, but has became brain rot. And for those that don't know what brain rot is, it's like when you're watching something or somebody's doing something or you're doing something over and over and over and over and over and over again to where you can't live without it. So for example, right? Let's look at her senior class, right? Paige Bueckers was the it girl in that class, that 2020 pandemic class. Paige Bueckers was the #1 player in the nation. We watched the videos. If you were day one, you know. We watched the games, the overtime challenges. She even had a documentary as a senior in high school. For Hopkins High School. Paige Bueckers had a documentary. Even Haley Van Lith had a little motion or a little fan base going on in that era. Kobe Bryant even pulled up to her games. In Washington. I don't want to say it like this, but the outskirts, Caucasian white part of Washington at that. But then as time went on, Paige was getting up there, and then injuries. unhealthy seasons. And then Hailey Van Lith was up here and then just went straight down in college. Like, she had fans, but it started to drop a little bit more as, you know, she got older into the college scene. So it's like, all right, so who's going to be the next big thing? And Lord behold, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. What day was that? Um, Give me 1 second. Yeah, that day in April. March. Yeah, April 2nd. That day, April 2nd, 2023. That's when life changed. You can't see me. That just started a whole race war. Now it went from this women's basketball being a why are we watching this to we have to talk about it. From why are you trying to sell me tickets to now it's racism, segregation, and you know.
And attention being given to just one player, and some of this criticism claiming she simply isn't nearly as dominant as we are led to believe. A product of the sports media machine pushing.
Let's get into. God, oh Courtney, God, Courtney. Oh, she got you doing Twister. Nah, hold on, no.
We are led to believe.
I don't think I've seen this in the highlights.
Sports media machine pushing.
Courtney, you doing Twister moves.
Golden child. Is Caitlin Clark really as good?
Oh, I was getting ready to say that we're to the point where some people are saying just rig the games. Or at least that's how I'm receiving the message. Rig the games for the money and the viewership. But since Caitlin Clark is not playing, it's pretty much, that's why I say it's brain rot. Because if 22 is not on the court, nobody is watching. But if she's playing, everybody's going to watch.
Good as advertised.
That's how good she is at basketball. It became brain rot.
It's been overblown for the sake of the WNBA and the future of women's basketball.
And I want to personally thank Caitlin Clark for lifting up our sport.
Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings. Football season is here, and my partners at DraftKings are ready to make your Sundays even better. Right now,
shout out DraftKings.
$3 anytime. Still join and download 200 Hyrule. On April 7th of this year, the women of the NCAA Basketball Championship accomplished something completely unprecedented.
Undefeated season.
They drew in nearly 19 million viewers, a number that shattered every NCAA women's record, exceeded the viewership of any men's tournament game over the last half-decade, and even surpassed every single NBA Finals game since 2018. The game was a groundbreaking spectacle, with people who had never
every final since 2018 has been boring.
even tuned into a single basketball game in their life, turning on the TVs to see who would be
other than the Warrior series.
Crowned champions.
Else been
the majority of this flocking attributed to one player, Caitlin Clark. Her unbelievable range and record-breaking performances proving to be must-watch TV. The true testament of her greatness and impact. All of the doubt and borderline detest that quickly followed her ascent. Some fans and players, both past and present, questioning if her talents would translate to the next level and if the horde of fans she inspired would follow. They did.
They will follow. They did. They sure did. And multiplied at that.
WNBA debut attracted the most viewers of any WNBA game in the history of ESPN. Indiana's home game attendance jumped from an average of 4,000 fans last season to an average of over 17,000 fans this season, a more than 400% increase in just a single year. Transactions in the Fever's team store jumped over 700%, and WNBA viewership
over there taxing. I know that Caitlin Clark jersey probably $130, just as much as shoes.
Levels that even Clark's
her jersey probably cost as much as Jordan's.
Advocates could not foresee.
No, it ain't cheap.
Game 4 of last year's WNBA Finals drew in more viewers than any WNBA game over the last 2 decades, with 728,000 fans tuning in for the game. Living
Oh yeah, we watched this game.
As one of the most
We watched this game on YouTube.
anticipated games in the history of the league. This season,
That last play was insane. I still remember that. All they needed was a layup. They gonna shoot a 3. I don't understand.
there were 22 regular season games that eclipsed that mark. 21 of them drawing in over 1 million viewers. Even crazier, 18 of those 22 games featured Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. But the most revealing evidence of the now dubbed Caitlin Clark effect is the fact that WNBA viewership has nearly caught up with NBA viewership in 2024. On ESPN, NBA
Yeah,
games
because the
average
NBA is boring. Let's be real, bro. The only thing that's going on in the NBA right now is LeBron and Bronny, their first game. First alley-oop. Past that is just the same old NBA from last season.
1.56 million viewers
Nothing
this
really happening.
past season. WNBA games averaged 1.2 million viewers, a number that was inconceivable just a couple years ago. But Caitlin Clark's soaring popularity has been a point of contention for many fans of the WNBA, frustrated that in a league that is bursting with talent right now, it's all just being overlooked for the poster child of women's basketball. Do Caitlin's abilities actually warrant the hype? In just her rookie season, Caitlin broke over a dozen league and franchise records, including the WNBA's single-season assist record. She set the record for the most assists in a single game. She received the most All-Star votes of any player in WNBA history, set a new league record for double-doubles by a guard in a single season, scored the most points of any rookie in league history, and became the first rookie in WNBA history to put up
It ain't
a
done yet?
triple-double.
I was about to say, good Lord. The only thing that this is missing is a championship.
Just this past
That's the only thing that is missing.
week, it was announced
All those in-game awards, all those in-game awards need to be rewarded with a championship.
that Caitlin made first team All WNBA, which makes her the first rookie to make first team All League since Candace Parker did it 16 years ago. Turns out those awe-inspiring performances from her days in college did in fact translate to the pros. Because even against the best defense in the world, she is pretty much an offensive cheat code. Throughout her rookie season, with points and assists,
People was complaining about her being a 90 overall when the game dropped. That's not a problem anymore, guys. She's a 94 now, not a 90.
generated 45.2% of all points produced by the Indiana Fever. For perspective, she has a larger offensive load than every single player in the NBA last season, outside of Luka Doncic.
Yeah, Luka just was averaging 30 plus with 33.
And she's a rookie. But to really understand Caitlin's unparalleled offensive prowess, here are the 200 most productive offensive seasons in WNBA history on a scale of points generated per game. And among these seasons, you'll find the greatest players in the league's history.
Become a game day genius. See all the NFL action every Sunday with NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube TV. Save up to $120 on your first year of YouTube TV and save $50 on NFL Sunday Ticket. Frontier Fiber Internet. Good to go.
Lisa Leslie, Tamika Catchings, Cheryl Swoops, Candace Parker, and Angel McCoughtry have tons of seasons littered throughout this chart. Climb towards the top and you'll find seasons from Asia Wilson and Cynthia Cooper. But with 4 of the top
Sabringa. That's funny.
10
Sabringa.
most productive
Who is Sabringa?
offensive seasons in WNBA history is Diana Taurasi. Her 2006
I
campaign
know Caitlin Clark is like somewhere in outer space right now.
being the
This
best of
list.
them all, producing 33.9 points per game.
Sabringa though. Sabringa.
And then there's Caitlin Clark,
Yeah, I know it. She's just somewhere by herself in outer space.
who is already the most potent offensive player in the history of the WNBA in her rookie season. Women's Hoops has never seen a player like this. And as absurd as her numbers are, how she puts up these numbers is just as incredible. Here are the players who attempt the longest three-pointers on average in the NBA last season, with Trae Young leading the league with the deepest three-point attempts with an average distance of 27.94 feet, and Damian Lillard and Stephen Curry just a shade closer. Despite it still being worth the same amount of points, the longest shooters in the NBA are stepping 4 feet outside the three-point line on their attempts. But even amongst the deepest shooters in the world, Caitlin Clark is on her own island, because throughout the 2024 regular season, her average three-point distance was 28.1 feet, which is not
Oh, that ain't too crazy. I thought she was shooting from like 33 or something like that.
only further than
That ain't too far from where Trae Young is shooting though.
any player in the NBA and in the WNBA. It is a whopping 6 feet out from the WNBA three-point line. Has Caitlin
Oh, that makes sense.
Clark been worth all the attention and hype that has engulfed her over the last 2 years?
Oh.
Yeah, I'd say so. She didn't just have a successful rookie season. She had one of the best rookie seasons in recent basketball history. And this isn't just to her benefit, but the benefit of the entire WNBA.
Now, Chad, now imagine if Caitlin Clark did nothing.
Because this
Like, imagine if Caitlin Clark just all of a sudden fell off. You know how depressing that would have been?
seismic
If she
boost
just fell off or she got hurt for like half the season, do you know how depressed that would have
in
been
the
for this league?
WNBA's popularity this season
And
is
for
not
the fans?
limited to those turning on the game
Oh, yeah, nobody's watching the league at that point.
to
It's
see
over.
what she'll do next. It can also be found in the fans actually showing up to the games. Looking at a chart of
Clarkies.
the average attendance of WNBA games since the inception of the league in 1997 will tell you a story of a league that has seen their fair share of good days and bad ones. In 1997, there were only 8 WNBA teams, all with really healthy attendance numbers due to the excitement of a new women's league. The league quickly expanded to 16 teams, with a handful of teams emerging as fan favorites, like the Washington Mystics, the Phoenix
Need some new teams in here? Or some really old teams? The Fire, the Sting, Rockers, Stars, the Monarchs. I remember them. They were in Sacramento. The Tulsa Shock.
Mercury, and the LA Sparks.
Wait till these Valkyrie games come on.
But with a massive
Going
league
way up
expansion
here
came
in outer
a nearly
space.
equal retraction. Many teams folding along the way, such as the Soul, Fire, Miracle, and Sting. But it wasn't until COVID
Hey, what team is this? That's just plummeting to the floor. The Liberty Games? That's
the
tragic.
league's once steady fan base was wiped out. In 2020, there were no fans in attendance due to COVID protocols, and when play resumed in 2021, attendance was at an all-time low. A number that has been quickly rising in the few years since the pandemic, but has specifically seen an explosion this season, where for the first time, league attendance was higher than the WNBA's inaugural season. The Indiana Fever seeing the highest attendance numbers in league history, nearly selling out every single home game. In a league where attracting the casual fan has been a seemingly insurmountable task, Caitlin Clark has defied the odds by not only drawing in new fans for her and her team, but rising the tides for the entire league. This is completely unprecedented. At least in the WNBA it is. But there was a time when the NBA was facing similar struggles until a pair of players showed up and changed everything. After the success of the Celtics in the 1960s, the NBA's growth in popularity had come to a
Yeah,
grinding
it's
halt
almost NBA time.
in the 70s.
Well, I
The
can't
league
wait.
had a rampant drug problem. and
It's
emerging
almost that time. We go
rival
back to the
league known
NBA.
as the ABA was picking up steam, and the
American
NBA
Basketball
didn't really have a face
Association.
to propel the league into the next decade. Jerry West was on his way out. Kareem was incredible, but he didn't really have the personality or charm that fans gravitate towards. Bill Walton's prime was cut short due to injuries, and many fans felt Julius Erving's introduction to the league after leaving the ABA in 1976 was a bit short of what was advertised. Many games were lucky to see even half capacity in attendance. Many teams were losing money. The NBA had fallen to a, quote, second-tier sport behind the NFL, MLB, and NHL. All of this culminating to the point where some networks infamously had NBA Finals games on tape delay in the late 70s due to low ratings. The league was in desperate need of a generational, transcendent superstar. Lucky for them, they got two. Coming off the most popular rivalry in the history of college basketball.
See, this is what they're trying to do now in the WNBA.
Magic
With
Johnson
Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
propelled the league to new heights in the 80s, transforming the NBA from a second-rate league into a behemoth of sports and entertainment. A tandem that many longtime NBA fans say saved the NBA. Now, this isn't to say Caitlin is the second coming of two of the greatest, most important figures in the history of basketball, but her impact on the sport at such an early stage in her career has reached a level reminiscent of some of the most influential athletes of all time relative to their sport. Because her popularity hasn't just affected her, it has had a cascading effect on players across the entire WNBA. Clark has essentially become the gateway to NBA fandom for many people. They come to witness the phenomenon that she is and end up staying once they see just how awesome the league and its players are. Players around the league are signing groundbreaking endorsement deals. Teams now have their own planes and new facilities. Many WNBA players have become household names, some of the most recognizable.
See, and that's the thing, right? They get all this new stuff. You see how he just listed and named all this new stuff, right?
Players around the league are signing groundbreaking endorsement deals. Teams now have their own planes and new facilities. Many WNBA players.
And now it's because of Caitlin Clark. It's according to the media, it's because of Caitlin Clark they're getting all this new stuff.
Have become house.
And that's really what the problem is. It's not necessarily Caitlin Clark. It's these trolls, spawners, whatever you want to call them, that's ruining the fun of the league by talking crazy.
Names some of the most recognizable figures in sports today. There is real, genuine discourse about the games and the players right now that exists beyond the diehard fans. Conversations about the WNBA are now no longer
You
about
got grown men screaming at women about their own sport,
legitimacy of the league itself,
about what they want in their own sport,
but instead about its players, records being broken, rivalries, the playoffs, title hopes, the draft, and up-and-coming prospects. It's understandable that Caitlin's explosion in popularity has caused a lot of tension. Why is she getting all the attention when there's tons of great players around the league doing great things? The answer to that question? Well, it depends on who you ask. But there's no denying the widespread impact Clark has made on the league in just a single season. For years, players in the WNBA pushed for people to give their talents and their skills and the product a chance. And in record numbers, people finally are. Now, what it took to get them to tune in may not be the most ideal circumstance, where for many casual fans, one player is overshadowing the vast majority of an entire league, but it's 1,000 steps in the right direction. Whether the Caitlin Clark effect will have a lasting impact on the league and retain these new viewers and fans and continue to draw in more in the future is something that only time will. These new viewers
like he won the lottery.
The Caitlin Clark
this
effect
is
will
a
have
proud Clarky right
lasting
here.
impact on the league and retain
Hold
these new
on.
viewers
This man jumping like he won the lottery.
and fans and continue to draw in more
Wow.
in the future is
Okay.
something that only time will tell. But one season in, and she is on a path to being one of the very few truly game-changing athletes of her generation. And yes, she's got all the talent to back it up.
Wow. Hey man, you guys let me know down below in the comments how you feel about the harsh truth about Caitlin Clark. Do you feel like Jimmy High Roller was telling the truth and spitting facts? Or just, I don't know, if you guys disagree with anything he said, let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next video.